What's going on, people? How you guys doing? Thurston O'Neill here. So happy to see all of you joining us today. Thank you again for joining the Brothers Like Us on Living Out Loud Radio TV. We appreciate you guys rocking with us. It's been a rough week, man. I'm not going to lie. It's been a very rough week. And as you see in the title, if you saw the title as you were coming in, what we're going to be talking about is how do you serve, protect your mental health? How do you serve and protect your mental health? How do you serve your family, serve your community, serve at church, serve at work? How do you serve diligently and effectively and protect your mental health? It is a struggle sometimes. I know it is. I'm really looking forward to talking with the brothers today, so I look forward to them joining me. But that's what I wanted to talk about today. That's what we wanted to talk about and discuss, and we would love your input. Everyone that's watching, everyone that tunes in on the YouTube page, on the Facebook pages. Let me just share these actually. If you're joining us via Facebook, you know you could always come in on the LOL Radio TV page. You can also follow us on my regular page, as many people are probably watching now, at Thurston Daniel O'Neill, but also on our YouTube page at Living Out Loud Radio TV. So again, very happy to be here with you guys today. Looking forward to talking with the guys. But I wanted to ask a question for everyone out there that may be watching, that may be tuning in. And even if you're not watching live, if you are watching this on a delay or you're watching the replay, how do you serve? Because whoever you are, you serve somewhere. You may not serve at church. You may not even serve in your community, but you're at the very least serving in your home, serving your family, or even serving yourself. How do you serve effectively and protect your mental health at the same time? Sometimes it's very, very difficult. So I just think it's important that we have these type of discussions, that we talk honestly, openly and honestly about what we can do. Some people may struggle and not know what to do. So that's the reason why we have these conversations. That's the entire reason for this show overall. Many people may struggle with how to deal with serving and protecting your mental health at the same time. And of course, we're going to get into some basketball because my man Randy's here. And I'm sure you probably got the basketball game on to your, to your right?
Yep.
So I put the game on today. I didn't get to watch the first game, man. I know it came down to the very end, but did Atlanta win?
Yeah, they won.
Okay, all right. Atlanta won.
Yeah, I was happy about it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But so, Randy, as I'm thinking about what I wanted to talk about today, you always come to mind, and I always think I know what you're gonna say, but sometimes you surprise me because I know that the way you approach certain things is, listen, I trust God. I know He has a plan, and you believe everything's gonna turn out for your good. I know that, but how do you deal with? So I'll reintroduce the subject in case you didn't hear it before you came on. How do we serve? How do we serve our family at church, our community, and maintain or take care of our mental health, our well-being? What things can we do, or is there certain things that you do to protect it? So that's what I wanted to talk about today, and I'm gonna go straight to you, man. So how do you deal with it? So I think about you when you were serving in church, and you were over the band, and I know there had to be things that came up that were stressful or whatever. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with maintaining your mental health, man?
One of the main reasons for me has always been that I realized that is not mine.
Okay.
You know, I'm just a part of it, and I understand. Listen, people, you know, it's like one time my wife. What's up, man, Alan?
Hey, Alan, how you doing, baby?
One time my wife.
Good to see you guys.
This was during the whole World Trade Center thing when it first happened.
Okay.
So Rachel was in working in Manhattan. Wow. And when it first started happening, I'm like, you know what? I'm getting out of here. I'm leaving. I didn't know what was going on, what was happening. I'm headed home. So I'm looking like, let's get the whole family, everybody, y'all start making your way home.
Home, you know? Right. Okay.
So she's like still trying to be dedicated in work. And I'm like, listen, American Express is not the Rachel Express company.
It's not hers, right?
It's not your company. You just work there. And so then when she started hearing all her bosses and them making plans to stay in this place and that place, then it clicked. You know, I need to go home. Because they had to walk across the Brooklyn Bridge,
right,
to make their way home because they shut Manhattan down. So for me, you know, being in the church, and even though I was over stuff, and you know, I used to go all gun ho, you know, and then, you know, the things I would try to put in place, I realized that management, so to speak, will go against it.
Wow.
You know, so that's when I realized, you know what? This is not mine. There's no need of me getting stressed out over this.
Right.
I'm not the pastor. I'm not the assistant pastor. I'm not the junior. You know, it's not mine.
Right. Right.
So even though and when it comes down to serving, being a part of the community and stuff like that, you realize that you only can do so much and give so much. But at the same time, you know, you have a greater ministry, which is called your family.
Absolutely.
You see, when you single, you can do all of that.
Right.
But once you take on a wife, y'all have children, things must shift. Right. Things must shift. I told you, I was so involved in the ministry that I was, you know, the drummer, and I was gone all the time. That my youngest daughter, Rachel, when she was a baby, she used to call me bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Wow.
That's how much.
Because you're always saying bye-bye.
Because I was always bye-bye. Bye-bye, because I would come home, fix and settle, Rachel would come in, then I would have to grab my stick bag, get dressed, and I'm out the door. And it's just not until, you know, God had to kind of like slow me down and let me realize, because trust me, a lot of families has broken up because of ministries. I'm not afraid to shame it. I'm telling you the straight truth. You know, you ask me, I'm gonna tell you.
Right.
A lot of families have broken up because people didn't understand how to separate the two.
Right.
You know, and it's cool to have married people involved, but they have to also learn to take on that responsibility to know when I can do and when I can't do.
Right. And so for me, it's important. I think it's important. And I want to come back to something you said, Randy, but I just think it's super important to learn early on. Most of us learn later, but to learn early on that it's okay to say no to some stuff, man. It's okay to say no.
Listen, that 2-letter word is the most important word that you could ever learn. I don't care about
Yeah.
all the $50 words, $100,000 words that you can come up with and you can be able to tell. You got to learn how to tell people no.
Yeah.
And it's that simple. And if they cool, they friends, I mean, they'll understand.
Right.
You got to be able to say that word. No, it'll keep you grounded and keep you in a place where you can give you peace. Sometimes you might feel bad because you have to say no.
Absolutely, yes.
It is what it is. It's a hard decision, but it's better that I have peace than to have to take on your worries.
Yes. So it's better for me. It's always about, and I had to learn this the hard way, man. I need for my wife, this woman that I'm coming home to, and these daughters that I'm coming home to,
mm-hmm.
I need to make sure that they're good, that they're well taken care of, and that, and it's more than just bringing home money and all of that. It's being present, right? So I got to make sure that all of my time is not spent outside serving someone else or someone else's vision or someone else's ministry or someone else's life. And again, I'm going to come back to that. But Vaughn, Alan, I wanted to loop y'all in. I don't know if you were listening early on, but or if you saw what I wanted to talk about today was, how do we serve effectively? That's home, that's on the job, that's community, at church. How do we serve effectively and continue to maintain our personal mental health and well-being? Like, are there things that you guys do to maintain it? Do you think about it? Is it something that you consider? Like, just chime in. What do you think? Vaughn, I'll start with you, man.
Well, if you remember, there was a time where I was super active in the ministry, on choir and praise and worship team. I was there Tuesday nights, was there for Wednesday rehearsals, Thursday rehearsals, weekend events, all day Sunday, so it was, and how I handled it was, originally because I was excited to be a part, excited of being a part of what I saw going on and was doing it. But then, as you said, after I got married,
right,
I had kids. I at that time I had 2 young kids, and even though it was hard balancing on Sundays. On Sundays, I would get in church early. I would minister with the choir, the praise and worship team, and then run when Adrian got there with 1 kid. Get there, run and grab the kid so she could sit in service, and then give her back the kid, and then it became 2 kids. So it was a lot going on trying to balance that just at church and that's only one aspect of your life, and that was taking up quite a bit of my time. Never mind work.
Right.
So
right.
I finally made the decision that it's time to start thinking about it. Thinking about making moves. Stepping back some, and and then there were other things going on amongst I want to say drama. Drama in politics and things that were saying, I grew up, I grew up in ministry. I grew up in ministry with my father heavily involved and watching and seeing things. And I learned a lot from him. I learned a lot watching him and decisions that he made and everything else. So because of that, it wasn't hard for me to start saying, okay, I'm seeing the signs. I may need to make this move. And then when we had some issues with Adrian's job going up, and I knew I might have to even step up with some things because of some things that were looking like that might happen with Adrian's job position. It was easy for me to say, okay, I got to let it go.
Right.
So it was easy for me to let it go and step back and the whole time, because of what I've seen and what I've known being in church and part of very large ministries my entire life. Also, like you were saying, I know how to say it's not mine. It's not mine. I can step back, like, I'm not going to stress. I'm not going to let y'all kill me. That sort of thing.
Right. Right.
And you know,
Right.
and I know, but I understand people who get into it, and it's hard to pull away because you're being pulled left and right, and it's hard to say no. But you got to make that decision for your own sake, your own
Absolutely.
mental
And
and
listen,
physical health, not just mental
and-
health.
Exactly, Vaughn. So, and this is the thing. I know even in you expressing that and saying that, I know it may seem harsh to a lot of people. And I want to make sure everyone understands. We're not just talking about church service. We're talking about service to your family, on your job, in your community. Like these things take a toll on you. Like when you're working hard to do something that you think is effective, and there are setbacks caused by you, caused by other people, caused by whoever, your coworkers, management, other people in the community, it takes a toll on you, especially if you're really invested. So I see, Louisa, you're asking what the topic is today. And first of all, thank you for joining us again, Louisa. We love when you come and chime in. And I would love your perspective on this as well. So we're talking about when you serve, be it at home, on the job, in the community, at church, how do you go about maintaining your mental health? And like Vaughn said, your mental and physical well-being. So that's what we're discussing, and we'll dive into that. But Alan, I want to bring you in. What are your thoughts on that, man?
First of all, thank you for welcoming me back. I thought you guys locked me out. Oh no. I've been locked out.
Never that, man.
I was speaking to, Michael, the archangel, let me in, please. But no, I was gonna chime in and say I knew when Vaughn was gonna leave the choir ministry when he said, Alan, you know what? I've heard you sing. I think you should join the choir. And then I realized when I joined, wait a second, where's Vaughn? Oh, I'm his replacement.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. He's ministry.
Wow.
He took ministry at home to heart, which, praise God, he has a beautiful family.
Absolutely.
If you know Vaughn, he's all about his family. And when I say his family, I don't mean his immediate family that, he created with his beautiful wife, Adrian, but I mean, his father, his late mother, his brother, Jerry, his sister.
Yes.
He is a family man. He is a family man. And though they're spread out, he makes sure to keep tabs on his family constantly.
Absolutely.
So, I knew that was important for him, but, Vaughn is one of the people that I consider part of my wise counsel. And, I'll give some shout outs, Keith Rogers, who's in the choir, Tyrone Rollins in the choir, and Tim Howard, who, Tim,
those are dudes, man.
I know, Tim, you're going to join that choir in Orlando. Stop fronting. But, those are some of my wise counsel who are close to the Lord, who I call MOGs, men of God. And, as you gentlemen are men of God as well. But, we've learned, and the Bible states that there's a certain order to things. There's God always first. Put no other God before me. And that means there are no other gods except Yahweh or Jehovah or however you'd like to refer to him. He has many names, Elohim. But, we make other people and other things gods that are not in their rightful place. But the order is God, Elohim, then your family, your wife, then the kids, then everything else. So, it's important to me as, a man who's trying to be a man of God. And I say trying because, I think about Matthew where it says, I find this law to be evident that when I seek to do good, evil is always there present. So evil doesn't have to be a woman or money. it can be something stealing your time. For you, Thurston, it may be music or what you do in the community. And I've watched you over the years say, you know what? CCC's okay. There's a lot of praise. Oh, Brian stepping up. Praise God. Bishop, do your thing. Lamar, praise. Oh, you got Darwin? Yes. I'm going to spend time with Erica and the girls.
Right.
They need me. My ministry is God. I can praise God at home, make music, bless the people, reach the people, but then I have to minister at home. So, I take to heart that, hey, anything can be evil if we let it become a god unto itself, idolatry in some way, shape, and form.
Yes.
And Pastor Bernard spoke about that, how he let the ministry come before his family. So it can happen to anyone. So for me, during this pandemic time, it's been a time of reflection for me. And Vaughn knows some of the things that I've been facing and everything, and so does Ernesto. So Ernesto, get on the mic. I know you're out here listening. But the thing is, one thing that I've learned is in the morning, if you get up, give thanks. Give thanks for everything that's around you. Your job, your wife, your house, food in your belly, waking up, the motor of your arms, your thoughts, your whatever. Then ask for forgiveness for the sins of omission and commission, the things that you've done, how you've offended people that you may not know that you've offended, or think through some of the ways that you could have offended people. Then forgive others for things that they did. But then after I spend time with God, I kiss my wife. Good morning. How you doing? Let's what's up for the day? Let's talk, let's relate. What's on your mind, etc. Then I can do the job and minister in song or reach out to someone else. Yeah, you were calling me, so what's up? Oh, you need help doing this? I can help you with that, blah, blah, blah. But everything in life is in order. God made, the sun to rise. And just like Solomon said, there's seasons for everything. So there's an order for everything. If we order our lives in the right way, whether it's finances, which I've been focusing on during this pandemic, physical, I've lost a lot of weight. I'm trying to maintain the weight. That's why this big jug of water here, we spoke about a little bit about crypto. So I've been investing, looking at mutual funds, how I can get dividends, etc. Working out, watching what I eat, praying in the morning, doing more devotionals and things of that nature. But finding time to spend with my family, finding things to do that can create a better environment overall. Because God wants us to prosper, but that prosper isn't money. It's holistically.
Yes.
Holistically.
Yes, Alan.
So, that's how I see it. And so, during this pandemic, let me just say one.
Sure.
During this pandemic, if you haven't realized that there are more important things than material things, money, your job, then the person who died says, Father Abraham, send one of my brothers who, even if someone dies and tells them, they won't believe,
Right.
I can't help you. I'm not the savior. I can't help you.
Right. Balance is key, Alan. Everything that you like, how you're discussing where you are now. And I go back to our four, not the core values, but the principles that Pastor shares: faith, family, education, community. Faith, family, education, community. Listen, that thing sat with me for years and years and years that I would, and it's funny that thing that Pastor shared from the church is what caused me to have to pull back some from what I was doing, right?
From
because
the church.
right. Because think about it. He says faith, family, education, community. I think this is where a lot of people get it wrong. And again, I don't want to just stay on ministry and church, but I think when you say faith, people automatically think church, but it's not. Actually, church comes in the lower one in community, right? So faith, family, of course. So faith, God, your relationship with God.
Your personal
family,
relationship.
your personal relationship with God. That's faith. Family, clearly, your family. Education, educating yourself, not just on spiritual things, but on the world. What's going on around you to better equip you to serve your community, including your job and your actual community and in church, right? So I think a lot of people get it twisted, and they can even get upset with you for pulling back.
And they do.
And they do. I saw somebody posted on Facebook. I saw a post that said, you're still allowed to speak to people that leave your church.
I saw that post.
Right? It's not like Bloods and Crips, man. You got to get beat in, and if you try to, it's just ridiculous. So,
real quick though, I want to give you your props, Thurston, because as I was saying, I learned a lot from my father and the example he set for me. But also, when I came into the choir, you were an example. You always have been an example because you were already dealing with it with your family, and I already saw you making those priorities and everything else. So those were reminders to me, so that when my time came, it was easy to follow that example. So I just want to give you your prop.
So listen, we both had those. We had those days, man. Erica and I was driving from Ridge, exit 68.
Yeah, y'all were crazy.
To Brooklyn, like 2 or 3 times a week, and then all day Sunday. And we would drive home from work, or not even go home from work, just pick each other up because we were both working like in Suffolk. I mean, we lived in Suffolk, working in Nassau, and would go out to church and for rehearsals and stuff, and you wanted to be there. You didn't want people to, and this is the unfortunate thing, you didn't want people to be disappointed in you, right? So you press. My children would be out. This is school nights. We're out late night for rehearsals, getting home, not even realizing how I got all the way home. All of a sudden I'm in front. I don't know if you guys have ever had that, where you're so tired that you don't even remember the drive, but you get to where you need to be. That's just God's hand of protection upon you. But it was dangerous, and it was just foolish. And
I can attest.
Younger people should learn it sooner. I'm sorry, Alan. Go ahead, man. Dive right in, bro.
No, I was going to say I can attest. There were many nights where I saw you running out. When I used to serve in the Long Island ministry, you were like, "Oh, we're done? Okay, good." You had your bag. You were like, "Grace and peace. I gotta get home."
Peace out. Yes.
And that was the Long Island campus, which was not far from your house.
A few minutes
we were
away.
ministering for ICB in Brooklyn, you're like, "Oh, we're done? Oh, praise God, we're out." And I know, the three of us.
You really didn't learn. I found out that for me, it was the upbringing. So coming from one ministry, that's how it was. So I really didn't get the change until I got to CLC, where I started to see some things. I started to because I was always on the go. So it was no big thing. I mean, doing the 4 services, the rehearsals, playing baptisms, doing all this kind of stuff, and you're doing all of that.
Right.
So it was not until later on, as you start to grow, as you start to mature, that you start to see these things and you start to learn. See, I would never tell nobody that you should not give your whole heart. If that's what they're doing,
right,
that's what they're doing. But now they start to, I find that they start to complain, they start to grumble, they start to do this. Then I would say, well, maybe it's, you need to, then I would kind of like share some advice on it. But as long as you feel, because, I know they're excited, I know that they're into it. So God bless you. you know, and I understand it, but it start to get to you over time. I think I told you guys this one time before that, you know, when we was at my former church, Ray Sean was at this birthday party or something. And all these women was sitting around and they was all talking about being in ministry. They happy that their husband's in ministry. And some of them was crying. Now I'm so happy that my husband's in ministry and involved him. So Rachel's just sitting there looking at him. But she was always like the outcast. She never seen it.
Like, I don't know what y'all talking about.
So then when she said her piece, she said, look, I didn't marry no ministry. I married Randy.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
I want Randy home. I don't want to be married. I ain't married no ministry.
Right.
I married Randy. And so this is how she always was, like the outcast. I mean, so, and that kind of, when she told me that, it kind of registered, and I started to, it's funny that God start to open your eyes to certain things. You know, you start to, when you are ready, when you are you're ready and you are prepared, ready to receive, God begin to open your eyes to allow you to see some things.
Right.
Let you see that, okay, this is what's going on. This is what's happening. You know, that's why understanding sometimes your wife might not always vocalize it. You know, she might not always say it, but the Holy Spirit will kind of let you know that this is what's going on.
Right.
Because some will tell you, get mad and all this kind of stuff. And like I told you, there was a brother who was in church that he felt that he was called to do this ministry, and he had just got married. And need to say, the marriage didn't last long because he's coming in at 1:00 and all this kind of stuff. And then talking to another brother, and he was saying, well, man, she don't understand, and he comes home and she won't have, right, that kind of stuff. And I said, well, it's selfish of him.
Right.
You want to come in at 1:00 in the morning, and you expect it to be all wide eyed.
Right, waiting for you.
Waiting on you. I mean, I said, listen, that ain't gonna happen. I said, listen, I don't care how much you want to quote the scriptures, and you can say your husband, your wife submits. Let me tell you something. It don't work.
Right, Randy.
If you are not in the right place, it ain't gonna work. And you can quote listen, I tried it. And it don't work. You can say all the scriptures, you can quote the Bible from the front to the end. It ain't gonna work.
If you're not putting that time in at home, it's not gonna work.
If they mad, they mad.
Right.
They upset. They upset. They know the Bible just like you know.
Exactly. Probably better. Probably better.
So, but the other flip side of this whole thing is upset. A lot has to do when you talk about jobs, community. You're talking as far as one serving and one getting paid. That money, makes a difference because that's part of your livelihood. Right. See, so now when you're on the job, you sometimes, especially when you're trying to elevate yourself and you're trying to move up, you put the time in because you're trying to be noticed. You're trying to do this, you're trying to do the work. You're doing overtime. You're staying late. You're putting the time in because you're trying to make that, things better for your wife, for your family, for yourself. You're trying to do a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's your livelihood versus, you just giving your time. And so you have to learn how to balance the two, because sometimes like you said, some people just, you don't they ask of you and they pull of you, and then they think that you're trying to be indifferent and all this kind of stuff.
Right, Randy. Right.
And it got nothing to do with that. It's just like the thing is that you work for the ministry, so you have to.
Right. Right. Exactly. Yep.
Has to do it. I'm just being truthful and transparent about it. And so there's a difference in it.
And I wanted to come back to that, but Vaughn, go ahead, jump in, man.
But I was going to say, but even with your job, your livelihood, you still have to be careful of knowing how to pull yourself back and how to balance things, because you're dealing with the pressures of, like you're saying, I got to make this money, and you allow yourself to be abused. You allow yourself to be abused when you're dealing with so much mentally and dealing with stuff that you don't need, and it's a strain on you. I mean, I don't know what brought up this subject. Was it Naomi Osaka?
You know what? For me, it was a bunch of stuff that happened this week. But that was something, because I didn't even catch it when it first happened. But Erica's on top of this stuff. I was like, what is all this talk? And then she broke it down for me. But you're right. Like the fact that and that's what I wanted to come back to, Randy, because many times that paycheck will stifle people and will make them either put up with things or do things that they would not normally do. And for me, so I surround myself with certain types of people. And I have a mentor that he is very well off, well established, well respected in his field, but he will curse you out in a minute. He don't care who you are. He doesn't care if you're his boss or whatever. Right is right and wrong is wrong. So I'm going to tell you like it is. And so in discussing it, like he's one of my go-tos. He's always been like this though. So he never, before he was super successful, before he was world renowned, he had a way about him that right is right, wrong is wrong. I'm gonna speak my mind, and listen. He doesn't go through life claiming Christ and everything like us, but he does have a faith that things are going to work out the way they're supposed to work out. I'm gonna speak my mind. Nobody's going to disrespect me, my family, or the work that I do. So you have to speak up. But it takes people a long time to get there, and some people never get there because they just need to keep bringing that check home. And I know it's like, being on a fence. Like, how do you navigate that and still keep your sanity?
To me, you say balance is the key of life. That's one of the main things that I learned, and I always hold true to. That's kind of like started to shift my thinking. Because what they say, people that does get good work, all they do is get more work.
Exactly.
That's goofing off, they never get nothing. So you wonder why. But it's like you don't learn this right away when you first get into it, because you're trying to prove yourself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. Now you can be that guy that I'm just going to do my job and just go about my business afterwards. But if you're trying to climb that ladder, people constantly look at you. When I was working inside arena, working for I was working for Philip Morris.
Okay.
I came straight out of high school, and I was started out in the stock room. And when they moved me to the mail room, so I said, "What floor do the executives get their mail on?" So they said the second floor. I said, "Okay." They had me on the fifth because I just started. But I was going to make my business to be the one that delivered the mail to all the senior partners.
Executives, yes.
So I was down there, and in a matter of months, delivering the mail. I was running errands for the chairman of the board. They didn't want nobody but me to do this. I was going to the lawyer's office. I would do this. And so I would just come in and check in, and then they would have stuff for me, and then they wouldn't see me the rest of the day.
Mm.
I was going to Connecticut, driven by limousines to their houses to pick up stuff, going here and there, because I made it my business. I'm gonna get this is the way the way I was. I was wired that way. I'm gonna work my way. I don't want to stay down here on the bottom. I want to get up there with the sunshine and basement. I was in the basement. I want to see the light.
Right.
So I got in there and I started making moves and making myself known. You know, you have this smart, you know, you put on, you know, but I was dressed in suit and tie like I was going to church.
Wow.
And they took notice like I was an executive. But you learn as you grow to start balancing things out.
Right.
Because she learned to start saying, no, I'm not going to do this. I'm not doing that. I know I'm kind of done. It took a long time for me to now to be a part of a band and been playing practically all my life for 27 years to say to someone that, nah, man, I'm done. They asked me, and then when they open back up the church, are you playing? Nah, man, I'm done.
Yep.
I had it. I mean, now I'm ready to retire and I'm ready to settle down. I'm ready to enjoy the fruits of my labor, my time that I put in. And waiting for Rachel for her to retire so we just go on and enjoy life together. But it's a thing that people, and I encourage those that's doing it, you know.
Right.
I mean, I saw your post the other day. Up on I guess it was on Facebook Live when you were talking about the sign,
right? Yeah.
Out, man. And so I was laughing. I said, "Oh man, the Thursday is really getting into it." You know?
Yeah, I love it. I love the work. I love the community work, man. But you got to protect your mental health in this, man, because at every turn there is something knocking against, especially in our communities, bro. Especially in our communities, it's so much happening, but. You know, that's why I love being able to, not just this show, but I love having connection with you guys, because I can reach out to you, I can share honestly, and I think more of us need that, because going back to something one of you guys said, we don't talk about these things. I think it was you, Alan, when you was talking, something came to mind about, you know, spending time and being creative and spending time with family and stuff. You know, these are not normally things that brothers talk about, but I love the fact that, and Vaughn will tell you, I reach out to him all the time. Like, Vaughn, I need to do something with Erica. This is my budget. What should I do? Because he thinks like that, right? I love being able to call on brothers to say, hey, this is where I am. What do I need to do? I call Randy. If there's anything spiritual, anything ministry related, I know I can call him, because he's going to give me he's going to give it to me straight. He's not just going to kowtow to me because he loves me. Because he loves me, he's gonna give it to me straight and say, nah, man, you're wrong. He actually corrected me. That was a couple of months ago, wasn't it, Randy? He's like, nah, man, you're wrong. You gotta, make that call, or you gotta do this, or you gotta do that. And I appreciate that. We need more of that between brothers. That's why I love this platform, and I love you guys so much, man. Alan, you were about to jump in a minute ago, I think.
All I was going to say was, and I wrote it in our private chat, but we're an addictive people, whether it's exercise, we'll start exercising, then we'll get all jacked up and, oh, wow, my daughter's 18. She was 6 when I started this. Or, you know what? I need to focus on my finances. And, I'm owning this property. I'm owning this business. I'm doing that. Oh, but I lost my wife because I wasn't focusing on her. Or the job or whatever it could be. I found myself, and, I'm preaching to myself, but sometimes I find that I need to relax. Right. So, I have a PlayStation. Vaughn knows I have a PlayStation. I'll go on there, I start playing some games. Then all of a sudden, 6 months later, I'm playing 2 hours every day. And it's like, but I don't play like that. Like I haven't touched a PlayStation in years. You know, maybe during this pandemic, I think I hit it up once, but you know, it's just we become addictive because we're so habitual. You know, whether it's getting up in the morning and praying. You know, if your wife stops you, wait, babe, I gotta pray. You know, 7 o'clock in the morning, I pray, or I gotta catch this train, or we gotta eat at 7:30. Because if we don't eat at 7:30, I don't know what I'm gonna do. You know, and you know, we have to watch so many things because those things can become our God. We make them our God. And like Randy said, and like Vaughn said, and you said, balance is the key, you know, and, you know, there are a lot of things that we're called to do, but as I said, we're called to do them in a specific order. And, you know, I always give people this analogy that God wants us constantly moving. If we sit too long, our butts hurt. You know, if we lay down too long, we'll get bed sores. If we stand too long, our legs hurt. If we run too far, you know, our breathing is constricted. So God wants us mixing it up constantly, mixing it up, balancing everything so that we can, you know, have this sort of tranquility. You know, I can focus on my job and climb the corporate ladder, but at some point in time, I got to say, you know what? Yeah, I'm a salaried employee, and if they're paying me, let's say they're paying me $100,000, that's for 40 hours a week. If I work 80, I'm actually making like 50,000.
That's right.
Because
bro.
You know, there's always work for tomorrow. Always
going to be work.
Right. But why don't I focus on what's due today?
Right.
And go home, spend time with my family, see kids, spend time with them, you know, do homework, go out, take a vacation. They give us 2 weeks vacation. Some people don't even take that.
Yeah, dude.
They're paying
some
me.
people feel that they can't take it. And listen, going back to what you said earlier, Randy, about it's not mine. This is the thing. If you were to pass away today, you know what? Service is going to happen on Sunday. That business is going to open on Monday. They're going to find someone to fill your spot. It's going to keep going. So why would we work ourselves until we pass away and not get to enjoy what God has given us? And yes, I believe God has given us the ability to obtain finances and status and all of that. That's wonderful. But I have to, you know, for me, it's watching my children grow, watching them develop. That is the most important thing in my life, bro. I gotta see them develop. And I'm not, they laugh at me all the time. I'm not pushing them to have a child before they're ready, but I can't wait to have grandkids to spoil them like crazy, bro. I'm telling you, man. So I want to be able to see these things and enjoy these things. I want to leave a legacy that my dad, my granddad was present, right? And I can't let these other things take me away or diminish my capacity to enjoy these things when they happen, because they are a gift from God.
But you can't get grandkids until they get 50. That's my number.
Well, Randy don't want none of my girls to have kids yet. They called you the other day, right?
They can't have no kids till 50. That's when I give them permission.
And I guarantee you they're going to be all boys.
Oh yeah, listen, I'm sure there's going to be a gang of boys the next generation, man.
Wait a minute, your kids are allowed to have kids at 50? Taylor can't date. She can't even start looking at boys until she's 50. So
you know what? I've come to realize a long time ago.
I always told Thurston that he was soft. He was too soft with them. He's too soft with them, man.
Listen,
that kind of stuff.
One thing we can't do, man, we can't fight nature, bro.
Yeah.
Can't fight nature. It's gonna happen. So you might as well get used to it and figure out how you're gonna deal with it before it happens. But nature's gonna happen, man.
And you know what's funny? If you ever notice, if you worked in a city and you're working for a corporation or whatever, you notice that at 4:00, those executives are dropping everything and they headed to the Long Island Railroad.
Yes, home.
Run.
Yes.
Catch that
They're
train.
late, punching the clock, and they done dropped everything, and they headed to the Long Island to catch that 5:00 train.
That's right. That's right.
And you see that because they understand. Look, tomorrow's another day.
Right. Right.
And they got a lot of money already in the bank. So,
Right.
I wanted to say something though. We've talked a lot about working at balance and things and everything else. But sometimes, even though you know that you work at your balance and you're doing everything, sometimes, despite all the balance you try to do and everything else, sometimes you still need help, and you have to not be afraid. If we're talking about mental health, if we're talking about dealing with our own personal issues, sometimes you still need help. You need to reach out to people. You need to talk to someone. You need to be in some sort of counseling, because people need it. And going back to Naomi Osaka, I think what happened with her this week. If I follow her on Instagram, so I've followed her for the past couple of years. So I've watched her, and you could tell she's someone she's a very shy, very introverted person.
Okay.
So she's obviously been dealing with some stuff for a while. So if you go back to when she first came onto the scene and the way she was put into the scene with the crowd booing her because of her victory over Serena, and she's been dealing with that. She's already an insecure and quiet person, so she's been dealing with that and dealing with the stress of the media. You can only imagine that pulls on you when you're the most highest paid female athlete in the world, and, and you're in the media and you're a shy and you're an insecure person and you're dealing with stuff. You're dealing with the stress. So maybe she didn't handle everything right the way she told the world that I'm not going to deal with the press and everything else. But what they should have done is recognize that she was in distress,
right?
And should have started working with her. Because I'm one. I've had this debate. I don't know if Claudio's out there. Claudio have had a debate about whether or not athletes should talk to the press or have to. I'm one who believes athletes should. Because I believe they're ambassadors for the sport, and the reason why the sport is able to make the money that it's making, the athletes are able to make the money, is because there's an interest. And so, as an ambassador to the sport, you have to be one of the people out there, and so it's in your contract. So I agree with that. But in the case of Naomi, she's someone with issues. She's someone with issues. So there needs to be some sort of understanding and saying we're going to work with you and have and just work with her differently, because she's having some issues, and she was in distress, and something should have been dealt with her. But I'm glad that it looks like right now she's going to seek out and probably get some of the help that she needs.
Right, and that's a great thing. And like Louisa said, she is very young, but you know what? That was a very mature thing that she did, regardless of how she did it. Because that had to be tough. Imagine the thoughts and feelings and emotions that were going on inside of her before she stated that I'm not gonna talk, or I can't do it, or just and having to open up to the world that
I'm dealing with depression,
my mental health. I mean, that's a personal thing. And you have to do it in front of the entire world.
Well,
it's a lot.
Sometimes I think that some people, as an athlete, you should have that choice if you want to deal with the press.
Right.
You should not have to be pushed in because you try. And then, listen, I seen these guys sometimes, man, they ask questions, the press ask questions, and it's like
dumb questions.
Stupid.
Dumb questions.
You lost the game, and it was a big game, but you can't say anything about a referee because now you get fined. even though you know that the referee helped you lose the game.
And like in all of those Jordan games against the Knicks, but I'll leave that. I'll leave that alone.
So Jordan was like, you know what? I ain't talking to your guys no more.
Right.
They fined him, but he didn't. But he had the money.
Right.
Of course.
Yeah. How do you feel about the loss of the biggest game of the year and you didn't play your best? How you think? Right. That's why Westbrook's looks are memes. Like,
that's exactly you sound. Family get killed, and they ask you, how do you feel?
Right.
Stupid stuff.
Yeah, ridiculous.
So and I think that she handled it well. I don't think she handled it wrong. I think she said, you know what? The best thing for me to do is withdraw, because she was a draw.
No, what her mistake was initially was she didn't talk to any officials at a French Open or anything else to tell them what she needed to do. She just put it out on Instagram. I'm not going to talk to the press. Instead of talking, we'll say, this is what I'm going through. Understand that. Talking to the people. These are the people that pay her why she makes millions and millions of dollars, and this is the entities that the reason that that tennis makes all his money, and she's living under the lifestyle. So her mistake only was that she didn't address it with them first. She just put out there, I'm not going to talk with the press, and then left them with the decision of saying, okay, you can't do that. But she should have talked with them first.
So let me do this before. Hold on 1 second, Randy, because listen, I'm glad, Claudio. I'm glad you're listening.
There he is. Claudio doesn't think Kyrie should talk to the press. He doesn't think Cam should talk to the press.
Listen, Claudio be going hard on Facebook. So
and Westbrook should be MVP.
Right. Claudio, Rodney, anyone that's watching now, if you guys go to let me put this up for you guys. If you go to our other Facebook page, LOL Radio TV, I'll be able to share your comments on screen. I wish I could share this one, Claudio. If you go over to that page and share it, I'll be able to share it. But he says, Vaughn, put some respect on my name. Seriously speaking, why are athletes the only people that have to speak to the media? Politicians don't even have to speak to the media. Got you. I got you. And listen, this is the funny thing. That 7th, 8th, 9th guy off the bench, you never hear him say anything. They don't have to say anything, right? It's those stars that have to. And I understand they make a lot of money.
She got fined.
She did.
Yeah. Which they shouldn't have done. They should have talked with her. Just like she made the mistake and not initially saying anything.
If you say anything bad about a ref, they're going to fine you $25,000, $50,000. So, and then sometimes guys just get fed up. They just say, you know what, just take the money. But I'm going to put the referees on the grass. And so that she's like, listen, she was forced to come out and say that she was dealing with depression and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
She didn't want to say that first. She just said, listen, I didn't want to talk to the press. But when they fined her, then she came out and told them the reason why. Now everybody want to be understanding. So if I'm coming to you and say, listen, I don't want to talk to the press, then that they should also come to her and ask her, why is this that you don't want to talk? But they just go, oh, you don't want to talk? $15,000. She said, okay, I tell you what, you're going to lose more money by me not playing.
Right. I'll just withdraw.
I'm going to withdraw.
I agree. I agree with you there. They should have handled it better themselves. Once she made that statement, they should have said, well, she's obviously in distress. We need to go talk with her. And we should handle this differently.
And now she comes out and tell you, not everybody want to be sympathetic. Maybe I didn't want to reveal that I was dealing with depression.
Well, she did initially, in her initial statement, she said, for my mental health. So we knew that, and those of us who have been following her knows that she's, like she said, an introvert. And you could see that there was, that the pressures were on her,
I remember looking at the Tiger Woods thing. They had a documentary on Tiger Woods. And when he did that whole thing with his family, with his wife, his family, he came out, He apologized to his wife, who I felt that's the only one that he needed to apologize to. His wife, his mother, and stuff like that. Immediate family. But the golf, they came at him like he embarrassed us. He did this. He didn't owe them anything.
Right.
I don't owe you anything. He didn't even have to do a press conference. But they kind of like pushed him into doing the press conference, and then they put him on blast. Yeah, right. Listen, golf came to another level when Tiger came in on the scene.
Absolutely.
Like tennis came to another level when the Williams sisters came on the scene. Now all of a sudden, I'm embarrassing you. I don't owe you anything. The only one that he said that he embarrassed was his wife. That's the only one I would apologize to. Instead, honestly, when the athletes get up there and they want to like pour out their feelings to the whole entire world, I don't have to tell you anything, say anything to you. Especially I used to look at this guy who's a newscaster, had died, been married about 15,000 times.
Was that Larry King? Who are you talking about?
Larry King, yeah. And the guy's going on there and you going out criticize me for what I did?
Right.
And here you can't stay married? Here you are coming after me, constantly after me. Oh, what kind of foolishness is guys going on this show and they crying and all this kind of stuff for white America?
Well, this is
that, man. I'm sorry.
This is the funny thing that you bring up. So the French Open said, hey, we're going to fine her for not being, speaking to the media. And then the president of the French Open goes out and says, after, we support Naomi in her bid to deal with mental health, and we back her 100%. So he started backpedaling. They wanted to ask him questions.
He wouldn't answer questions?
No questions.
Wow. Fine. Give him a fine. Fine him. $15,000.
I thought you had to speak to the media.
Wow.
And he just like, nah, son, I'm good.
It's the double standard, bro. It's the double standard that is faced everywhere we go.
Listen,
it's unbelievable.
The only reason why we talk to the media is so that they can sell papers. That's all it's about. It's about money on their side.
It is about money, but you have to understand the interest in the sport is what brings in the money. So this is why they want the athletes, because the athletes are ambassadors for the sport. So if there was no Jordan, NBA wouldn't be what it is. It wasn't the interest in Jordan. It wasn't the interest into LeBron. These
Kobe
athletes,
Kobe, LeBron,
the interest in the athlete, and the people who want to read and see is what brings in the money. This is why all the sports have those rules in it where they need the athletes to talk to the press.
I understand that. So if we flip it, just like athletes are fined if they don't talk, shouldn't there be some type of stupid question quota for reporters? Like
yes,
if you're constantly asking stupid questions, then you can't be a reporter for our sport.
They should be judged and maybe get moved out.
Right. Exactly.
It's just like when I watch basketball games, I listen to it on mute. I watch the game on mute. I don't want to hear nothing that these guys got to say.
You don't like listening to Mark Jackson and Van Gundy? I love those guys.
No, man, they dummies. Dummies. I don't like listening to Shaq.
Hey, how can I
I love Shaq.
I can't listen to Shaq and Barkley. None of those guys, man. Because you know why? Because they forget that they played the sports. And they had a time when that girl, female basketball player, forgot her name, that was on TNT for a while, and now she's playing now.
TNT. She was a player, then she was a coach, and now she's
no, she's playing now. She's still playing. She's tall.
Oh yeah.
She was playing for the Los Angeles Sparks.
Yeah.
The African girl? What was the African name?
No,
Lisa Leslie?
No.
She says she's playing now.
She's playing now. She left the Los Angeles Sparks. She moved somewhere else. I forgot her name. They
were just talking about her like a week or 2 weeks ago.
And so her and Shaq was going back and forth. See, because Shaq wants to compare
Oh, yes. I can't think of her name.
Yeah.
I think her name is Candace.
Candace Parker. Candace Parker.
Candace Parker.
Okay, okay.
So her and Shaq was going back and forth, and she was ripping Shaq apart.
Really?
Yeah.
Because she was saying that Shaq doesn't understand today's players and today's game. And because Shaq wants to compare everybody to him. And he thinks that he's the greatest center of all times. That's how Shaq is. And so when you hear a lot of times stuff that he said and stuff that Barkley say, I'm like, man, these guys, man, a bunch of idiots. And people always laugh at them because of the things that they say. You forget that you play the game. You want to talk about, that's like I say with Mark Jackson, or these guys are complaining against the referees too much. You was a player.
Oh, yeah. And they complained.
And you complain.
Right.
And then you got a guy like Barkley want to talk about
acting,
saying that these guys need to grow up. Well, when you was playing and you spit at a kid, spit at a person, what was you? You see, you forget where you came from, all the dumb things that you did.
Right.
You know, and that's the type of stuff that really, really gets me about these guys that sit out there now trying to commentate the game.
Listen, I really like the show. I love the NBA on TNT. I love the show. I think Barkley has to be one of the stupidest people on TV. Absolutely. But he makes the show work. I mean, all of them together, that interaction, it works.
Entertainment. It's entertainment.
It's entertaining. It's entertaining. It works. Listen, I definitely agree with you. So, Rod, thanks for going over to the other page, man. Now I can share all your comments, man. Rod says, these former athletes have a great perspective on the game. Barkley is right. He learned wisdom over time. Yeah. Right. Get
all
out
you
of
hear
here,
is, well, the Big Shaq Diesel or the Big Shaq attack would have done it this way. And, you know, when I was at the foul line, Shaq.
And listen, Shaq and Kenny always goes back to, but Barkley, you ain't got no rings, man.
Exactly.
What are you even doing here, bro?
And not only that, he can never finish or complete a sentence. I'm like, what? He started, you know what I said? So, but what I mean is, and then, but you know what I'm saying, Ernie? I mean, you never complete one sentence.
But it's all for, it's all for comedy. It's
entertainment. It's entertainment, bro. It's entertainment.
All it is, we all armchair quarterback. It's not only sports, it's, people's lives, professions.
Yes, Alan, thank you.
If I was in this job, if I was this minister, I wouldn't have said that. Oh, why'd they sing the song like that in church? I don't like the way they sung it. Oh, harmony's off. Yeah. Oh, okay. Why don't you?
And then you get up there and you put on blast and you forgetting words. You looking stupid. Listen, it's best to keep your mouth off of people, man. For real, because you don't know what they've gone through or what they've done to get where they are. Keep your mouth off them. You can have opinions, absolutely. But this social media culture, man, you get out there talking nonsense and then eventually you're looking stupid.
But like you said, you don't know.
You outside your truth. If you only can do this much, you don't go no further.
That's it. Just do what you can do. Just do what you do.
Exactly.
And you trying to be Mr. Everything and Mrs. Everything, and you're not. And you're allowing people to put you into things that you ain't really called to do.
Nah. You get up there and try to sing like Darwin Hobbs if you want to. And you get up there trying to mimic Darwin.
Yeah, try and do that falsetto.
Right, please. You better sit down somewhere.
So when you think about also like the Raider fame, like you think people, you hear like people like going for the mayor job. And I always tell people, I said, that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, man.
I said that, it's a lot of pressure to be able to try to balance the city. And here you have a house and can't balance your house finances.
Right.
But you tell the mayor how he ought to balance the city. And you yourself is in debt.
Meanwhile, you bouncing checks. Talk about I could do this job. Claudio, please come over to the other page, man. I want to share this on screen so bad. Claudio said, did Prince do press conferences? How about Michael Jackson? They were still able to promote without having to do press. Would people stop watching the NFL if there were no press conferences? I doubt that. Vegas and sports betting is much more important to sports than the press ever will be. Claudio,
I need bad judges to come before the press.
See, now we got personal, Claudio. You gotta come over to the other side.
But you know,
Right.
we need some answers.
He's right. He's right.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. They did not have
I like to know, do the press give money to the NBA, the NFL, the majors?
Oh, I doubt that.
Do they give money for the interviews?
Yeah, I seriously doubt that.
Do the New York Times, do the Daily News, the Washington Post, do they give money to these different organizations and things like that?
No, but listen, I understand I understand all the gripe, but you also do have to understand that the attention that the promotion of the sport comes through the media. That's the promotion of the sport. That's what brings in interest. That's what brings in new fans and what keeps the other fans entertained and watching. It's from the media.
So this is the thing, Vaughn, because I think the press needs sports more than sports needs the press. And I say it like this because
it's a byproduct.
Even if players didn't give interviews, they would still have to report on the results and how the game went. They would have to sit there, watch the game, and say, this is what I thought about what happened. Even if the players didn't give press conferences at the end. I think press needs the sport more than the sport needs press.
No, you're absolutely right. But sports is also personality driven.
It is.
It's personality driven. So, or else you wouldn't have, again, those names. The Jordan, the Kobe, the LeBron. Personality is part of what draws people in. So they get people like a particular person, a personality. Barkley, with all his stupidity, everybody loved the way he acted, and that was part of what it is.
And I'm sure the NFL and NBA and all these other sports, they feed the press the stories that they want them to highlight.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Who was that football player that every time they would interview him, he would say, "I'm on Marshawn Lynch." And you know what? That became his draw. That became his personality. That's what made him all kinds of money in marketing, was because Marshawn is this personality. He don't talk to the press, and that became his. And he started getting commercials because of it.
But absolutely. He's still getting commercials today. Still,
did he get fined?
He did get fined at the beginning, but then he just started showing up and saying,
"I'm only here because they."
That's his answer.
Chewing popcorn and Twizzlers and just.
So going back to your dove, Vaughn, Adrian, Dr. Simmons. I agree, Thurston. The press is still talking about Naomi, and she hasn't said anything since she said she wasn't going to say anything. Absolutely. The press, they need to sell papers. So even if they need to make up a story or come up with something, they're going to do what they got to do. I wanted to jump back again. Rod, early on, you said you loved Vaughn's shirt, man. Listen, you could get that shirt, man. I'm right around the corner from you, bro. I'll make sure you get one. You'll be a brother like us, too. And I love your shirt, too, the prayer and protest. That's you wearing the girl's shirt, Randy.
Yep. I
love it.
They told you, they texted me yesterday, right?
I was in the car, man. I was so proud. Because, Randy, listen, I did not tell them to call you, bro. They did that on their own. I was so proud.
I was so shocked. And then I said, you know me, I'm not going to be texting back and forth. So I called them.
Exactly.
And I was so shocked because I said that your voice sounds so grown. I mean,
Right.
Man, I'm like, man, they like, yeah, we got to get back together and go out to eat. That was fun.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, okay, we got to definitely make that happen. Being that things are opening up, man. But I was just amazed at, man, how. Well, we didn't change that much. I'm saying, I'm not talking about the physical. I'm talking about the voice out of your mothers.
Yeah, the maturity, man, is great. Listen, we were just driving down the street, and then we hear Jaden on the phone, and all of us, Erica and I, was looking at her like, who is she talking to? And she continues talking, and then eventually says, Uncle Randy. We looked at each other like, what? Just on her own, she just reached out, man. So listen, we were very proud, man.
Yeah.
Those girls, I mean, they are the absolute joy of our lives.
Wait a minute. We were talking about our shirts, and I don't want my brother to be unappreciated. Alan is wearing the latest in Hanes.
Right.
Okay. Oh no. Oh, wait a minute. Never mind. Now he's gonna floss. Never mind. Blank him out.
He just flexed. He just flexed on all of us, bro. For real. He just put the camera down.
I'm thinking, I have I think it's a God is dope or God runs things shirt. I'll wear that next time. I'm trying to get a Brothers Like Us shirt. So
you should have one. You don't have your Brothers Like Us shirt?
No, brothers. The guy who sells them, he won't. I don't know.
Listen, we haven't even sold any yet, man. We're gonna put them up for sale, but you will have your shirt this week, bro. I thought all of us had them already, man.
We didn't get it.
Randy, I gotta tell you, when you got off the phone with Jada, Thurston gave her a high five and he said, "Get that money, my daughter." Black girl magic. No, I'm kidding.
So that's the thing. This is the thing, man. We have to force Randy not to give the girls anything, man. Really do.
I'm sure.
As soon as he sees them, he's going in his pocket. And it's not about that at all. They really do enjoy their time with their Uncle Randy, man. He's funny. They know he's crazy. They know he's gonna talk about their clothes, how you dressed, and all of this. And don't be around no boys and blah blah blah. But they love him, man. They love him.
I gotta meet the boys first and try to keep me from them from finding the dudes.
Randy gonna be trying to scare everybody off, man.
I'm gonna be like Martin.
Yup. Martin and Will Smith. You look 30. How old are you?
You're at least 25.
Exactly.
No, I love it. So yeah, man. So this is the thing. I was sort of stressed out this week, man, and that's why I love this platform, because we get to laugh and joke. We talk about serious issues. We get to laugh and joke and release some of that tension, man. It's just really good.
You see what Adrian wrote?
Yep, exactly. I want my press conference.
I
got something to say.
That everyone has a shirt except me. I'm feeling unappreciated. I'm thinking about taking a break from the show. I don't know. I got to protect my mental health.
I told you I was speaking to Archangel Michael. Like
to let me in. Let me in.
No, I'm kidding.
So listen, man. So Alan, seriously, you gotta maybe the next show. We don't have enough time now, but I'm seriously interested in the crypto. Now I know Vaughn is on it already, and he's in it. I don't think Randy cares about crypto at all. He's like, give me some cash money. I want to talk about crypto, man.
Well, listen, I can give a really quick synopsis, and
okay, great.
And Vaughn knows this, and it was shared in the document that I shared with you guys. Listen, at the end of the day, crypto is digital currency. So if we think about PayPal, if we think about Venmo, Cash App, whatever, that's not real currency. It's digital currency. We're transferring money over the internet to something else. Now, cryptocurrency came about in like 2008. Started with Bitcoin. Now, why? Because we noticed the housing market went down and there was a big recession. People were losing jobs, things of this nature. Now, if you have a business, Thurston or Vaughn or Randy, and you want to, my family's from Haiti. So if I want to do business with Haiti, what I do is, okay, I call up my bank. I say, I have to pay someone $1,000, right? They say, oh, you want to transfer money? Praise God. I'm going to tack on some fees on there, right? They go to a middle bank that tacks on more fees. And then they go to a Haitian bank, which tacks on some fees to change it into Haitian money is called the good. So to change it to Haitian good, they tack on some more fees. So now I'm not paying $1,000, but I may be paying $1,050. Right? That's called fiat currency. Each country has their own currency. Jamaica, China, India, wherever. Canada, Mexico is called fiat. F-I-A-T. Right? Now, fiat currency used to be backed by precious metals, gold, silver, whatever, diamonds, whatever. 1960s, Richard Nixon said, yo, we have a little problem. Let's not make it backed by gold anymore. Let's make it backed by credit. Well, credit isn't a hard thing. It's subjective. Look at your credit scores. Each of the three companies have a different score. Why? Right. Because people are subjective. Oh, you know what? Thurston looks good this week. You know what? 750. Equitable says, you know what? I don't like Thurston this week. 650. You know? So it's like, oh, on the average credit score, you, Thurston, are 698. If you were 700, you get that extra discount on. It doesn't make sense. So what happened is they used a fictional name. This guy, Satoshi, came up with Bitcoin. It's a universal currency, digital currency that is used all over the place. You don't have to deal with the intermediate bank, right? And the customers set the price of whatever is you're selling.
Pause right there. First of all, I think you're too smart to be on our show. All right. So
have a good day. I'll see you guys.
No, this how you are rattling this off is blowing my mind, and I don't want you to give too much because I really want to dedicate a full show to this because I want to go from the history, and I'm gonna have my computer and stuff set up next to me because I want to set up an account and I want to share. So I want to promote this and let people know. Listen, if you want to know about this, but I have one question, and Vaughn, I see you're about to chime in. I wanted to go back to you, but my one question is, I do hear about Bitcoin, but I never hear about people buying stuff with it. Like, so I don't fully understand. And that's what is intriguing to me about it. So Vaughn, your question, and then back to you, Alan.
No question. I was going to, if we are going to do the show, I will see, I have a cousin who's a day trader and investor in North Carolina. I will see if I can bring him in to participate because he would also he and Alan can explain to everybody what it's all about, better than I can. I'm just somebody who's investing in it and trying not to lose my mental health.
Right.
Vaughn, I'm going to tell you what to invest in, Vaughn. I'm going to send you some notes on the stuff that I've taken. So,
no, that's excellent, man. That's great. So Vaughn, touch base with them as soon as possible because I'd like to do a little promotional post and let people know if they want to learn about this to really come in because clearly, I mean, there's so much information to be shared. And I didn't mean to cut you off so sharply, Alan, but I really do want this to be a standalone show where
it needs to be.
Discuss this.
Alan, quick question: Are you in BMMO investors?
No,
you're not. Because I all right. Because I know you're in the other group, but I didn't know if you were in BMMO investors as well.
So a lot of my knowledge comes from a group that I'm part of from Colombia. and we talk about this stuff
You're
every
gonna
day.
throw Colombia out there again.
I'm just saying, so I see the stats and figures, I see the news and everything. The one thing everybody has to remember is that things like this are an investment. So it's not a gambling thing. You invest what you can lose. You're okay with losing. And everything has to have a purpose. If it doesn't have a purpose, you should not invest in it. If you don't understand it, you should not invest in it. Rodney, I see you. I got you, Rodney. You know I have your email. I'm going to send you the document. I'll hit you up. Paul Cody's got it. Everybody here has it. Will's on top of it. I got you, Rodney.
However, you know, here's the thing. You were talking about only invest in things that only one's coins or whatever else that have a purpose. And I mean, there are people who are especially day traders who have been investing in what in Dogecoin in particular, which is a joke coin, a meme coin. So I mean, there's still money to be made, but is a higher risk at some of those things. Yeah,
and that's why you got to be educated on this stuff. I mean, it's so important. I'm really intrigued by it.
So, Alan, you live in Long Island, right?
Yeah, Nassau.
Okay, good. Okay, I just want to know in case I lose. I got my shotgun.
Yeah. Don't worry. I'm ready for you.
If you read about Bitcoin guy,
what's Randy doing here?
I ain't looking to lose. Bro.
Listen,
only investment you can afford to lose.
Let me tell you. To answer Thurston's question, right? Bitcoin is accepted in overstock.com.
Okay.
Bitcoin was accepted in Tesla, but Elon Musk is trying to manipulate the environment so that he invested in Bitcoin so that he can make a lot of money. And the thing is, he invested in it and got out. So, there are a lot of companies that actually accept Bitcoin, but there are other coins out there that are accepted as well. Microsoft accepts Bitcoin. AT&T accepts Bitcoin. I'm looking at a list right now. Burger King, KFC, Subway, Pizza Hut, Miami Dolphins, Dallas Mavericks, Virgin Galactic, Norwegian Air. Those are just to name a few. Cheapair.com accepts Bitcoin. So, these things are things that, are going to be accepted in different places that, we should understand where things are going. Right now, how many people during the pandemic actually use cash? No, we were ordering everything online. It's digital currency. But at some point in time, you got to say, man, my dollar used to buy, when I was a kid, $25, $50 could buy all the groceries in the house for like a month. Now you go, $300 at the supermarket.
Yep, easy.
Why? Because the dollar isn't worth anything. All these stimulus checks that we've gotten, right? They were just printing money, making the dollar worth less. They're talking about inflation and things of this nature. We cannot be in an environment where we don't have cash on hand, whether it's in a safe in our house, in our savings, or whatever. We need cash on hand because inflation comes, the economy tanks, you lose your job, your mortgage is still due. Don't think that hold that the government is giving everybody right now is going to last the next time.
It's not. No.
Whether it's Democrat, Republican, or independent, they're going to be like, nah, I need my money.
Give their money. Yep,
absolutely. It's going to be like a pimp. I need my money. You better walk the street. I need my money. You know?
It's singing that Rihanna song.
Yeah, exactly. But we need to be prepared. And one of the things that I've read is, and I'm going to bring it, of course, back to the Bible. When God took the people out of Egypt and brought them into the promised land, he gave them skills, talents, and abilities. Why? To be entrepreneurs. They were running their own businesses. Carpenters. A carpenter doesn't work for people. He's an entrepreneur. Musicians, people who made swords, clay pots. They were entrepreneurs. And if you look at Jews right now, a lot of them are entrepreneurs. They're looking for people buying. They're not looking for people willing to give them a check. They are employing people. We need to be brothers like us, sisters like us, Christians like us, people like us need to be in a place where we are the lenders and not the borrowers.
So
that's
Alan,
what the word says.
It's so incredible that you brought it back to that. And that takes me to, this is something that Erica says all the time. So we are
consumers.
Right. And we are fighting against our daughters being consumers, right? So even the idea of summer jobs for them, right? We're like, do we want them to apply for summer jobs, or do we want them to establish their own business and be producers? And like you said, look for people that are buying the product and not just settle in on, I have to go work for someone. That is the mindset that a lot of us get drawn into, and we'll put in the time, and then eventually maybe we'll open our own thing. But what if we taught our young people, you can be an entrepreneur right now? Financial education. Yes. Yep. Yeah. So listen, we're going to get into all of this on the next show, man. Again, I love and appreciate you guys. We're not going to stay on for 2 hours today. We're going to cut it short. I want to get last thoughts, but just going back to everybody. Well, I'll wait until my final words. So let me start with Randy. Final words for today, man.
No, I'm just once again glad to be on with your guys. I'll be, I'm interested, listening.
Awesome. Excellent.
Listening
Excellent.
to it. It sounds intriguing. Nothing wrong with making money.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it's good. I mean, we'll see what happens. I really don't have too much to say, man. Just think about each and every one of your guys, man. And have anybody reached out to Brother Reg, see how he's doing?
I reached out. I texted the other day and got a response from him. So yeah, we've been checking in on him, and we'll make sure that we continue to check on him.
Yeah, good.
Thanks, Randy. Love you, bro. Love you, man. Vaughn, let's go to you, man. Final words, bro.
Okay. I just wanted to say that to anyone out there watching or whatever else, anyone watching who's felt the stress and concern, don't be afraid. As we were saying, people need to reach out if you need help. If you're dealing with stress and things are bothering you too much, don't be afraid. It doesn't make you weak, especially with men. Women will do it more than men will, but we all need to reach out, whether, if we're feeling the stress and everything else, to find someone that can help us talk and work through situations. As someone who's always dealt with, felt anxiety my entire life, I understand that we do need help, and we do need people to help us out, and don't be afraid to find that source.
Yeah, man. Thank you. And listen, you're absolutely right, Vaughn. Before I go to Alan for his final words, I just want to shout out everyone that chimed in today. So Tim, I saw your last text. I'm gonna encourage you, Tim, and Portia, if you could do it before the end of today's show, it would be great. Go over to our other page, because I would love to be able to share your comments on screen. I can't share them from my personal page, but I can share them if you are watching from the LOL Radio TV Facebook page, or if you're watching on YouTube at Living Out Loud Radio. If you watch from either of those pages, I can share your comments on screen. And Tim, you're right. He says, Bruh T, I asked you about them shirts a month ago, LOL. When we were talking about the Brothers Like Us shirt. Tim, you know how much I love you, man. I can't wait to see you rocking one of our shirts. I will definitely reach out to you. You know I got your number. And Portia says, enjoy the conversation today. Looking forward to the next week's conversation. May you all have a safe and blessed week. We appreciate you guys chiming in. Alan, I'm gonna go to you to your final words, and then I'll close us out, man.
I'm gonna try and make this brief. One of the things that I love about this, and my overall growth in my relationship with God is real. We attend CCC, and one of the things that is the motto of CCC is living from God's point of view. Listen, we talked about sports. We clowned some of the reporters. We talked about media. We talked about stress factors, crying. We talked about crypto. We talked about finance, physical nature, whatever. We are some real men who love God. We can talk about things who are not otherworldly, who love our families, understand our faults, and want to be better. But we want to have that balance in life. And I'll say this as my final word. Last year was tough for a lot of people. There was death. There was financial ruin. There was emotional challenge, mental challenge, spiritual challenge. And balance is the key. God has a hope and a future for you. What we have to do is always look for the best, but prepare for the worst. Be as innocent as doves, but as wise as snakes or serpents. Understand how the world is working. God is changing things right before us. Understand the age. Pastor has been talking about this. What's going on? God is telling us to be prepared. And, as we sit and talk about all of this and watch things happening, we're preparing ourselves, our mental state. Each week is hard. And as the Bible says, each day has enough trouble for itself. Don't worry about those things. Be balanced, pray to God, have joy in your life, focus on your physical, your financial, your spiritual, keep them in order. And, I just want to thank you guys for being in my life. I asked Tim to come on. Brother Tim, you need to be on the show as well. Special guest. Brother Tyrone, you need to be on the show. Keith, Rod, Claudio, you guys, I follow you guys on Facebook and Instagram. I love you guys. You guys come with the wisdom, all men of God, and I respect all of you, all real men, real Black men, loving God and just trying to have a balanced life.
Yeah. I second all of that, Alan. I would love to see all of those brothers here on the show because everyone has such great insight and a lot of great things to share. And we need it, man. We need it. No man is an island unto himself. We grow in community. And the fact that our community is out here live for the world to see, it takes a lot of guts to do the stuff that we do on this show and discuss the things that we discuss live. But I think we do it well. And I think that other brothers will really enjoy it. You don't have to believe like we believe. You don't even have to agree with what we say. But I think chime in, give your thought, give your ideas, give your perspective. You may enlighten us to something that we have not even considered. So I challenge all of you, ladies that are watching, share it with your friends, your family, your sons, your husbands, your fathers, uncles. Let them know that there's some real brothers talking about real brother things with honesty. Like we don't showboat here. We don't try to, cover up our faults, man. Like you said, Alan, we do have faults. So I just encourage everybody, like Vaughn said, listen, if you're having issues, if you're struggling, do not struggle alone. Do not suffer in silence. There is help for you. If you don't have brothers like this around you, and if you can't find someone in your area, reach out to us. Shoot an email, lolradiotv@gmail.com. That's lolradiotv@gmail.com. Shoot us an email. Someone will get back to you. We will connect you with someone that can help you if we are unable to help you. So listen, this is real issues. Our mental health is so important. We want to live full lives. So it's important that we all take care of ourselves, for our family. There you go, Tim. Love it. Excellent. Yeah, we miss you too, man. We miss you too, bro. I'm going to make sure you get a shirt so you can rock your shirt and shoot us a picture and let us know you're on board with us, man. You are a brother like us. Absolutely. No doubt. I love you. I miss singing with you, man. I miss singing War Cry with you, bro.
You need that bass.
Yes. Yes. We would do the verses together, me and Tim, man. We would go in, bro. So listen, to everybody that's listening, thank you guys again for chiming in. Thank you for supporting brothers like us on Living Out Loud Radio. And again, I'm going to say, like I'll try to say every week, and like we talked about earlier, we don't want you to suffer in silence. So don't just endure life, but embrace it and live it out loud. Until next week, we love you, and we'll see you guys soon.
God bless,
God bless, guys. Love you, man.
God bless you.
Later, bro.
Right, fellas.